Assalamu alaikum guys. Welcome back to Cooking with Aram, and today we're going to be making Halal Nando style peri peri chicken. This recipe is really similar to the peri peri chicken you get at Nando's and it's awesome. So let's begin. So here we have one whole chicken with the skin on it, and we poke some holes onto the surface of it so that all the marinade, all the flavor could get inside the chicken properly. And when we went to the butcher's, we told the butcher to take out the spine, to take out the backbone of it, and we flattened out the front of the chicken so that it could be all spread out. So moving on to the ingredients. Here I am cutting one onion, one whole onion. So I'm cutting it pretty roughly because you don't have to cut it neatly. It's going to be put into a food processor and made into with the other ingredients, and it's going to be made into a sauce, a marinade. So guys, I am really sorry that I couldn't be posting for like 3 weeks. It's because that my kitchen was getting renovated and I couldn't post anything for those past 3 weeks. And now it's almost finished, so I can at least post something. I could at least film something and post it on YouTube onto this channel. The kitchen is not completely done, so please excuse any mess that you see. Anyway, back to the video, back to the recipe. Here I am putting in the onions into a beaker, into a container that I'm going to be making my marinade in. After that, we're moving on to the bell pepper. One whole bell pepper. Just cut that in half and take out the core. Take out the stem. I really love this recipe. It's because that the chicken has this tangy flavor in at the start, and then after some time, the spice just hits you at the back of the throat. I really love that. And it's really tasty, and the meat is really tender and juicy. It's awesome. You guys really have to try this. So I'm just gonna cut that up really roughly into like medium chunks. Cutting that up again. So after we cut all of them up, we're going to be adding less than half a tablespoon of lemon zest, a juice of one lemon, and 4 to 5 cloves of garlic peeled. So 4 or 5 cloves of garlic. You could just put them in like that into the container because it's going to be made into a sauce, into a marinade later. And all the chunks and everything will be gone. It'll be like little pieces, really tiny. Anyways, moving on to our key ingredient, the peppers. So you don't have to add in the exact amount of peppers that I'm using. You could put in any amount of peppers that you like. It depending on your liking. It's depending on your tolerance of heat. So here I am. I am using habaneros and bird's eye chili. Habaneros is really spicy, and so is bird's eye chili. So I'm just cutting them up in halves so that it could be easier for it to be made into a sauce. And I'm taking out the green stem of the bird's eye chili because we do not need that. So it's depending on your tolerance of heat. You can add as much chilies as you want, or much less. Anyways, now we're gonna be moving on to the thyme. 1 tablespoon of thyme. Just add that in. And then we're gonna be adding some black pepper. And then we're gonna be adding some white vinegar. 1 tablespoon of white vinegar. This makes it really, really tangy, and that's the best part of the marinade. One of the best parts of the marinade. And then we're going to be adding some salt. 1 tablespoon of salt. There you go. Now it's ready to be mixed into a puree. Mixed into a sauce, actually. And now the smell of the marinade was beautiful. It was awesome. You could smell the tanginess, the spice, the thyme, everything. It was perfect. And now we're going to be adding some oil. So this is about 1 quart. I'm just adding about 1/4 cup of oil. A quarter cup is basically like 3 to 4 tablespoons of oil. So so a pretty small amount of oil. Now, how could I forget this ingredient? We need to add 1 tablespoon of smoked paprika. The smoked paprika gives it the smoky flavor of the sauce, of the marinade, of the chicken. So here we are finished with making the marinade, and we're going to be pouring that over the chicken, and we're going to be massaging the marinade into the chicken. Massaging the chicken into the marinade. Massaging the chicken into the marinade. Yeah. I'm not pouring in all of the marinade because some of that marinade could be made into a peri peri sauce that you could eat with chips or rice. Yeah. So we're going to be massaging the chicken into the marinade because so that all the flavor could get inside properly. So after we're done with that, we can let it marinate. We can let it marinate for 4 hours, 3 to 4 hours. So after it's marinating, we're gonna put it. We're gonna take that out of the container and we're gonna put it onto a tray lined with aluminum foil so that it could bake. It could finally bake. So take that out of the container and put it onto the tray. And then we're going to take out that extra sauce in the container and we're going to be pouring that over the chicken because that has a lot of flavor and we're not letting that go to waste. Just spread that all across the chicken. And then we're going to let that bake in the oven for 1 hour on maximum heat. So we're going to let that bake for 1 hour on maximum heat. Okay, so after baking, we took out all the liquid from the baking tray, all the water from the baking tray, so it could be all dry. And we're just going to be putting some we're going to be putting some oil and the oil has some flavoring on it. The oil will help because it can make the chicken really crispy and also in case it gets too dry, maybe we could put it on top of the chicken so it could be a bit moist. So here we are so now it's in the oven and under that is the chips that we're going to be eating with it. So here we are. Here's the final product. So this is a chicken. It looks really good, really crispy, and really delicious. And we have some of the sauce, which is the leftover marinade, which has been untouched. It did not touch the chicken at all. And we have some chips to eat it with. And as you can see, guys, the chicken looks really tender, really juicy, and it tastes really, really good. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like, share, subscribe. You know the drill. Anyways, bon appetit. Allah Hafiz.